Buongiorno, and benvenuti to Italian Lessons with Gina. This is the fourth in a series of brief lessons aimed at teaching Italian to English speakers. Our topic for this installment is Meet and Greet, Part 1. In all lessons, whenever it is necessary to mention a letter of the alphabet, the English name for that letter will be used. And whenever an Italian word is stressed on a syllable other than the next to the last, the stressed syllable will be underlined. In this lesson and the next, you will learn some basic Italian grammar and vocabulary in order to be able to conduct a simple meet and greet conversation. Let's begin with the basic interrogative words. Che, cosa, che cosa. All of these words translate into what and are usually used without preceding a noun. For example, che sta dicendo, cosa sta dicendo, che cosa sta dicendo. All of these sentences mean what is he or she saying. Chi. This means who, but it is who as the subject of a sentence. For example, chi ha telefonato? Dove. This means where. For example, dove sono I bagni? Come. This most often gets translated as how, as in come avete fatto la torta? And occasionally as what, as in the question come si chiama, which translates as what is your name? More on that later when we discuss typical meet and greet questions. Come also functions as a non-interrogative word. It can mean like or as when making comparisons. For example, lui canta come Pavarotti. Perché. This means why, as in perché studiate l'italiano? Perché can also be used to mean because when answering the question. Perché I nostri parenti sono italiani? Quando is when. Quando arriva il treno? Quanto is how much or how many. Quanto costa l'ombrello? Quanti libri abbiamo? Quale means which, as in quale macchina preferisci? Italians can sometimes be more precise than English speakers in their wording. They often use quale in situations in which English speakers would use what. For example, qual è il loro numero di telefono? In other words, which one of the millions of phone numbers in the world is theirs? If the questioner knows the nature or category of the thing she is inquiring about, it is a phone number in this case, but she does not know the specifics, which phone number, then quale should be used. A very basic meet and greet question is, what is your name? This is how you ask that question in Italian using the formal you form of the verb. Come si chiama lei? As mentioned previously, this is one of those rare situations in which the interrogative word come will translate as what. The literal English translation of the entire question is, what or how do you call yourself? But since English speakers do not usually phrase the question that way, we say that the meaning of come si chiama lei is, what is your name? The response would be, mi chiamo, and then give your name. As you would surmise, the literal translation of mi chiamo is, I call myself, but we translate it as, my name is. So, if I were asked the question, come si chiama lei? I would respond, mi chiamo Gina. Another basic question is, how are you? The verb used for this question is stare. If you were to look up stare in an Italian-English dictionary, you will see that the most common English equivalents of this verb are to stay or to remain. However, in that one narrow context of the ubiquitous question, how are you, Italians will use stare instead of essere, which is the Italian verb that most closely equates to be. Essere will be discussed later in this lesson. Here is stare conjugated in the present indicative tense. Io sto, tu stai, lui sta. Noi stiamo, voi state, loro stanno. So the question, how are you, using the formal you, would be come sta lei? And possible responses would be sto bene, I am well. Sto male, I am unwell. Sto così così, I am so-so. You can always use intensifiers or modifiers such as molto, which means very, sto molto bene, I am very well, or abbastanza, sto abbastanza bene, I am well enough. You can also respond with non c'è male, which means not bad. This latter phrase is an entire statement in and of itself and does not require the inclusion of sto. Practice using the other subject pronouns. How would you say, how are you guys? That would be come state, state being the voi or you plural form of the verb. And if the question is addressed to you plural, the answer would be we are fine, stiamo bene, or male, as the case may be. Another typical meet and greet question is asking, where are you from? For this question, Italians will use the verb essere, which is most commonly translated into English as to be. Here is essere conjugated in the present indicative tense. Io sono, tu sei, lui è. Noi siamo, voi siete, loro sono. Remember that the third person singular form of essere in the present indicative must always be written with a grave accent mark. Although it may sometimes result in a very awkward sounding sentence, nevertheless, in English, it is grammatically possible to end a question or statement with a preposition. However, in Italian, ending with a preposition is never done. So in order to ask the question, where are you from, Italians will begin the sentence with the preposition, which in this case is di, saying in essence, from where are you? Di is from plus dove, which is where, plus lei, which means are you. Put that together and you have di dove è lei. The e at the end of dove is dropped and an apostrophe is inserted. While the single word dove is stressed on the first syllable, the combined word dove is stressed on the last syllable. The response to di dove lei begins sono di, and then state your place of origin. Sono di Akron, sono di Sacramento, etc. As a tourist in Italy, a better response to this question would be sono degli Stati Uniti. Again, let's try the question and answer using other subjects as voi and noi. Di dove siete? Siamo degli Stati Uniti. You should make an effort to memorize the conjugations of stare and essere. So now we can greet in Italian. Buongiorno. Ask and answer some basic questions. Come si chiama lei? Mi chiamo Gina. Come sta lei? Sto molto bene, grazie. Di dove è lei? Sono degli Stati Uniti. After you answer these questions, you may wish to ask them in turn. The easiest way to do that is to tack on lei and you at the end of your response. Example: Come sta lei? Sto bene. E lei? Often, Italians will insert the subject pronoun lei you singular formal into questions addressed to a single person with whom one has a formal relationship, as I have been doing in the previous questions. There is no hard and fast rule to follow as to when to actually say the lei and when not to say it. In general, say it at the beginning of a conversation, but then drop it as the conversation progresses. As in many situations, when unsure, copy what the Italians are doing. Also, as you have noticed, when writing, it is customary to capitalize lei when the pronoun refers to you formal, and to keep it in lower case when it refers to she. As mentioned in Lesson 3, Simple Conversational Elements, when addressing children 12 years old or younger, adults should use the two forms of verbs, that is, the you informal. Therefore, the three basic meet and greet questions rendered in the to form would be come ti chiami, come stai, and di dove sei? Fill in the blank in the sentences in the box with the correct word taken from the word bank. The words in our word bank are quando, stiamo, dove, quale, stanno, sono, sta, che cosa. Number 1. Io blank di Milano. Number 2. Professore, come blank lei oggi? Number 3. Di blank sono I vostri parenti? Number 4. Blank panino preferisci? And here are the answers. Number 1. Io sono di Milano. Number 2. Professore, come sta lei oggi? Number 3. Di dove sono I vostri parenti? Number 4. Quale panino preferisci? That's all for now. Alla prossima. Ciao e studiate bene.